Hallo, hallöchen Leute, willkommen wieder zurück zu einem weiteren Part von Genshin Impact. Ja genau, wir werden uns jetzt wieder der Event Story widmen und hoffen, dass wir diesen Ashford Party heute bekommen werden. Ja, dann finden wir mal raus, was Yelan rausgefunden hat.
Took me a bit longer than I expected, but I found where he's hiding.
Let me just be sure of one thing. We're dealing with someone who has extremely dangerous weaponry in his hands. If it comes to it, are you prepared to handle the worst-case scenario?
Drauf mit Gebrüll?
Absolutely. You just need to trust us, just like we trusted you earlier.
Yeah, we've got this. My crew's already locked and loaded.
I'll take you at your word.
I know you said you wanted to keep this operation small, but I still thought you could use some backup. So, I chose a few promising young Spina members to help out. Clarand and I have got things covered at the expo.
Yes, we're ready to roll then.
Now that you're here, I guess we can get this show on the road.
Gehen wir. Oh Gott, die Kinder.
I'm sorry, you can't come with us. You need to stay at the expo like we agreed. It's for your own safety.
We know. It's just... Do you really think Uncle Ashvapati is working for the...
I wish I could answer that question, but it would just be speculation. And I work based off evidence.
He's been gone for 2 days now, and he just left us here. He's never done that before. Maybe he really is working for those people, but if that's true, then that means he must have been involved in making and selling weapons in the past too. Wouldn't that make him a bad person?
That's not for us to say. Take a look around the expo. There are plenty of other people making and selling weapons. Doesn't mean they're necessarily all bad people.
Really?
The same is true for your uncle. Whatever he may have done in the past, the real question we need to ask is why. There's a lot we need to know before we can judge a person. In Fontaine, we have a long and complicated process in place just to make sure we get the right answer to that question.
Yeah. Why would Uncle Ashvapati do something like...
How about this? I'll make sure that Miss Chevras and Miss Yelan promise to bring your uncle back safe and sound. Then you can ask him yourselves.
Thanks, miss.
Hey, da ist ja Dori.
This situation is complicated and unpredictable. Isn't it a bit early to be making those kinds of promises?
Ja, das ist ein bisschen naiv von dir, Navia.
It's all right. We're prepared for whatever.
Regardless, it's a promise we have to keep. After all, when the children get their answer, it will shape their understanding of what justice means.
Genau.
Then, let's all do our part to make sure this ends as well as it possibly can.
Spielzeug für die Kinder. Als ob er nur losgezogen ist, um Spielzeug für die Kinder zu kaufen. Das glaubt er doch wohl selbst nicht. Ja gut, dann lass mal weitergehen. Dori, hast du irgendwie noch was zu sagen? Weil du stehst hier gerade so auffällig. Nee. Die hat hier nichts zu sagen für uns. 50% Rabatt. Ja. 50% wovon? Würde ich dich gerne fragen. So. Hier müssen wir. Okay. Dann spazieren wir da schön angenehm hin. Oh. Hier gerade ist es am Pissen wie Sau. Genau wie jetzt gerade im Real Life. So. Was haben wir hier?
Stop right there!
Where is he?
We missed him.
Ganz knapp.
Looks like he left behind plenty of evidence, though. Search the area. Let's see if we can find a lead.
Schauen wir mal, nicht wahr? Gut, was haben wir hier?
These records look suspiciously familiar.
Kommt, seht ihr das?
Yeah. Doesn't seem very coincidental to me either.
What is it?
Remember when I said this group's cover was ironclad? They were always careful never to leave a trail leading back to them. The one time they slipped up, it broke the case wide open. We found a cargo manifest left behind at the scene. That's the clue that led us to Nodcry.
It was a similar story on our end.
And now that same manifest shows up here, among the records left behind by Ash.
So, he's the guy that slipped.
Unless it wasn't a slip-up at all. How does the same clue get left behind at two separate scenes and picked up by two separate law enforcement agencies? Thinking back on it now, it doesn't seem quite so accidental.
No. Almost like he led us here on purpose. But for what reason?
Schauen wir mal weiter.
Search the area. Let's see if we can find a...
Strange.
Ihr seid hier die Ermittlerin. Ich muss gar nichts. Ich bin nur freiwillig hier. Gut, was haben wir hier?
Wait, is this what Paimon thinks it is?
Efeu?
It's the display model that goes with the prototype. Guess that does make him our thief.
Möglicherweise scheint sich die Beweise gegen ihn
What's
zu erhärten.
worse is that, with his technical background, I bet he managed to bypass the security features on the prototype.
You're saying our guy has a battle-ready ballista in his possession, just waiting to be unleashed?
Oh, this isn't looking good.
Something isn't adding up. All the evidence suggests that he was here alone. Which begs the question, why would he unlock the ballista's features before even meeting up with...
That's a question for another time. We need to focus on where he's going next.
Genau. Ja, wir brauchen noch einen Hinweis. Hier ist noch einer.
Hey, there's a letter here.
Look at how it's positioned. It was begging to be found. I think it might be for us.
Und das ist das Letzte, was mir aufgefallen ist.
You think he knew we would come here?
If he did, he's a more impressive opponent than I anticipated.
Let's keep going. We can read it together when we debrief.
This situation seems more complicated than we imagined. It looks like Ashvapati does have a connection to our criminal gang, but it might not be what we thought at first.
You don't think he's working for them?
Unlikely. He lured us to Nodcry, prepared those weapons on his own, deliberately put us on his trail. This is looking more and more like the work of an independent actor.
Well, if we want to get to the bottom of this, he's still our best lead.
Lasst uns mal einen Blick in den Brief werfen.
That would seem to be our last remaining clue.
To the officers of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol and the Liyue Qixing, you certainly live up to your reputation. Within a single day, you were able to eliminate... I doubt my secret hiding spot will be a secret much longer. So I suppose it's my... I'm just glad I no longer have to run. So, before...
Sieht nicht wirklich gut aus für
It
ihn.
all started with a Kashara War researcher. Expelled from the academia, he had dedicated his life to the pursuit of knowledge. But when he found himself in the desert, could you spare some water?
Researchers like you are a dime a dozen. Smart as a whip until you find yourself in the desert. Then...
Are you mocking me?
No, son. Just still trying to figure out why I've got such a soft spot for strays like you. You got somewhere to go?
Not really. Thanks to the...
Now you're talking like desert folk. You could...
What would I do?
Gather food, guard our water source, just like everyone else I've... Of course, if you have something you're good at, you're welcome to show it off.
All I know is... weapons.
Weapons?
Yeah. I love studying them. Big and powerful ones, small and deadly ones, I believe the essence of Kshatriya research is embodied in weaponry, and the pursuit of this kind of technology is what pushes the... My lifelong goal has always been to become a foremost expert on all kinds of weapons, so I can invent even more advanced ones. So I might have borrowed a few sensitive techs without permission, but you see the vision, right? The higher-ups in the academia.
The academia could have 1,001 reasons for exiling you out here, and it still wouldn't matter to me, son. All I care about is what this special...
Hi. I can help upgrade your weaponry. That should come in handy.
True, weapons are essential to life here in the desert. Most folks get them when merchants happen to... But when it comes to protecting the people here, this scimitar in my hand is more than enough. The kind of weapons you're talking about are overkill for a place like this.
Overkill?
Our group is lucky. Our ancestors learned how to protect the oasis from the sandstorm. Plus, we're pretty far off the beaten path. Helps us avoid conflict with other bands of Eremites. All in all, we don't have to travel to find water. We don't have to fight off other desert folk. It's a real... There are plenty of ways to die in the desert, but behind a lot of them lies too much ambition. So, having somewhere to settle down...
I see. Guess I could do some odd jobs then.
I've heard you Kshatriya scholars are handy with all kinds of gadgets. You could always make something for the kids.
You mean, like...
Yes, if you wouldn't mind. It'll give them something to do. Life can get bored.
All right, then. And just like that, a Kshatriya scholar at the cutting edge of his field ended up in the desert. It got boring from time to time, but all in all, those days were quite pleasant. The Eremites accepted me. Looking back now, I wish I could have lived like that until the end of my days. But then, those despicable people... Don't rush me. These materials are in short supply.
Oh, they've got a lot of nerve showing their faces back here.
Send the gem? It has been a while.
Well, we have a right to this oasis, too. Our ancestors were part of the group that...
You hated this place. After that giant sandstorm when everyone else was trying to figure out how to help, you got out of Dodge the first chance you could get.
Because I knew better than to be stubborn. Stay in one place too long around here, and it might just be...
You abandoned this place. If we'd done the same, the oasis wouldn't even exist anymore. You gave up your right to be here a long time.
I heard they joined another band of Eremites after leaving us, but got kicked out. I bet they're only crawling back to us now, because...
Chief, should we drive him off?
I'd like to see you try. I'm warning you. You won't get rid of us that easily.
Leave them be. This oasis has always been big enough to sustain more than one group of people. All that matters is keeping the people here safe.
At the time, I didn't think much of it. Just Chaim Wazet being the kind-hearted man he... And so, normal life continued. Much unchanged. Well, mostly. I often found myself flipping through my collection of blueprints and sketches. As far as I knew, no one had been able to analyze or reproduce the technology within those mechanisms. But I was able to design a kind of lure to bait them into attacking a specific target. Somehow, the new arrivals at the oasis must have caught wind of it.
Hope you don't mind me asking, but is that a weapon you're...
I do mind, actually. It's none of your business.
Rumor is you used to be a researcher at the academia. All that knowledge going to waste out here...
What do you want?
I want to team up. The rules and red tape that got you kicked out of the academia, they don't exist in the desert. You could take this research to the next... But what if you had access to the right...
What are you suggesting?
Me and my men can get you what you need. In return, all you gotta do is bring... We've always had a good eye for business. Just never the right product. But this thing right here, the different bands of Eremites...
You want to sell it?
It's a win-win. You provide the goods, and I earn enough mora from these people to fund the
I don't know.
I understand what you're worried about, but listen, it won't come back to bite. These people don't think bigger than this place. They don't get involved in conflict. I mean, come on. Their biggest enemy is the weather.
You've made a bad name for yourself around here. I don't want any part in this.
Well, it's your choice. But it could be the last meaningful choice you ever get in life. So I'll ask you again. Do you want to finally develop the weapons you've been dreaming of and realize your academic ambitions? Or do you want to stay here building toys?
How I wish I'd made the right choice back then.
Yeah, we increased our prices. What about it? You gonna back out?
So, you're really as money hungry as they all say, huh?
Cash is king. That's just business.
Fine.
I'm done. I want out.
What are you talking about? We're making bank here.
I know what the weapons have been used for, and I refuse to be an accomplice to all this.
An accomplice? Listen, that's got nothing to do with us. People would be at each other's throats with or without our weapons. So they die to a machine instead of a scimitar. What difference does it make?
Can't you sell more than just weapons? Surely this can't be all the Eremite.
If you want to make the big mora, you gotta push what sells. That's just how it is.
And that right there is...
Fine. I've made more than enough to leave this dump in the dust anyway. If you want out so bad, have it your...
What was that?
Oh, verdammt.
Snow.
Das ist überhaupt nicht gut.
Kaim was it. How did this happen?
You won't find a tribe in this desert without enemies. People have tried to steal water from this oasis in the past, but Kayem Wazet drove them off. Guess his enemies have been holding a grudge that...
You sold weapons to his enemies. But he took you in when you had nowhere to turn. You owe him your life. Why?
It was the perfect excuse to drive up the price, that's why.
It was only later that I found out. This wasn't the first time Senegem and his men had turned around and stabbed them. I didn't chase after them or try to hold them accountable. In that moment, all I could think about, but once the weapons I designed were turned against us, the fate of them in the end, despite all the burning tents, and now you know the full account of my crimes.
Das ist hart, auf jeden Fall. Und nicht schön.
I've been raising them ever since, while attempting to hunt down the men who made them orphans in the first place. This confession is for the kids to read, too. So, I know I'm in no position to make requests, but please, help them find loving parents to take them back then. I failed to see this through to the end.
Jeez. If this is true...
He's after the same target as us. And he's out for revenge.
He even lured us to Nodcry to help him get it.
I think I know what he's planning to do with those ballistas now. If I'm right, this doesn't bode well.
Then we need to find him ASAP! It sounds like he's about to do something super dangerous. But we promised the kids we'd bring him...
I can't just let him get rid of our target either. This crime ring runs deep. There are still many other conspirators we need to track down.
Wo sollen wir ihn also finden?
Oh?
You got something?
He knew we'd be out of the picture investigating this place. I think he decided to spring the trap that we set up.
Er wird das Ziel überfallen, wenn es da kommt, die Ware abzuholen.
Oh, snap. He's not working for them. So our original plan could...
The meeting will be happening any time now. Quick, we need to head to the rendezvous point.
Ja, ruhig Blut. Wir gehen dann im nächsten Part zum Treffpunkt. Jetzt erstmal noch nicht. Ich sag dann erstmal bis dann und ciao, Leute. Wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Bis dann und ciao.